Welcome back, everybody, to our third and final adventure of the evening, one which I have entitled here, Keeping Up Disappearances. But before we get into that, we are, as always, going to take a brief moment and introduce our characters. So, without further ado, hello to an adventure we haven't seen in this particular format in quite a while, Kurogan.
I think you mean Antagon.
Yes, Kurogan, I'm sorry, Antagon. I know that a couple of years ago there was a terrible plot by Lemmec, which caused a lot of the good aligned heroes of the lands of DnDTime to find their persuasion suddenly switched.
Oh yes, it was a wonderful day. Everyone suddenly became their true colors, as our alignments were switched out of nowhere, but it was so freeing.
Or not even exactly switched, but more put to evil.
Well, that is very true.
And, well, Antagon,
Yes.
you are, it seems like every year you've been kind of popping back up this, well, I was going to say, well, let's say different personality of Kurogan.
It is the spooky spirit. It weakens his grip on the good realm, and it allows me to come through.
Antagon, how does it feel to be back again?
Oh, and I feel so powerful! And Kurogan's actual scales have turned red. Blood.
Oh dear. Your normally incredible golden scales are now gone.
Very blood red.
So
As
you're
is
not,
my
you're
armor.
not the golden god anymore. What
No,
are you, Antagon?
Antagon is the Red Menace.
The Red Menace. And to you, Antagon, on this, the Carnival of Souls Day, the first of them, I say welcome.
Thank you very little.
How rude and evil!
Not at all, even.
Oh, he didn't thank me. This is not the Kurogan I know. As we move next to our hero, Lance Silverblood, the Silver Hierophant. Hello to Lance.
You seem to have something fundamentally misunderstood here, Pete. It is I, Lance Crimson Blood, Hierophant of Blood.
Wait, Lance Crimson Blood, Hierophant of Blood?
Indeed.
Not of the 7 Silver Stars? You too? Et tu, Brute?
As the Carnival of Souls begins and the moon's light itself turns crimson as blood, what can the followers of the moon do but embrace such happenings in the world?
It would seem nothing. It seems that you were powerless against this particular affliction, as it were. But, well, it was still Lance. You are Lance Crimson Blood. So, Lance, how are you on this? I ask you the same question I asked Antagon. How are you on this solstice day? Is it nice to be out?
Excellent. To finally have shackles released and walk the world free. It is most liberating, to say the least.
Indeed, indeed. Well, I also bid you welcome, Lance Crimson Blood. It is, well, I was hoping to see Lance Silverblood, but it is good to have you adventuring with us. Well, I would say once more, but this Carnival of Souls instead.
I imagine it is good to have me here.
Such ego. This is not the Lance that I know. As we move next to Anadolsha Bluebeads. Anadolsha, how are you?
Quite well, thank you.
I'm glad to hear you're yourself. I was a little scared coming in that you might have been in some way altered by the Carnival of Souls season.
Well, I mean, this costume does let me feel a little bit more free, but whether it gives me something different, who knows?
Indeed, your bat hat has now been empowered that you received last Carnival of Souls with Carnival of Souls energy and has given you the ability to fly around freely, if I'm not mistaken, yes?
Yeah, I wasn't going to talk about that, but yes. But I also like this magical monstrous makeup that I found in that big treat bonanza.
Oh, wonderful. And actually, well, I'll circle back around. I forgot to ask you, Antagon. I was just so terrified of both of you, Antagon and Lance Crimson Blood. I forgot to ask. But Anadolsha, you took the magical monstrous makeup. You have not used it yet, have you?
Not yet. I mean, haven't really thought that there will be a time to use it yet. Regardless, me and Sugars just came here with our costumes because, both of us Bartholomew's adventures. We left the kids with the Confectias.
That's good. You get to have a nice, a nice kind of night out. This is a very extravagant dinner party that everyone's been invited to.
Indeed.
Well, Anadolsha, I'm glad to see that you're still yourself, and I welcome you back once more.
Thank you.
And last, but of course not least, we have Sword Coheir joining us once more. Hello, Sword.
You mean Wraithful?
Oh, jeez. Sword, that sounds extremely not like you. Sword, you say Wraith?
Wraithful.
Wraithful. Wraithful Coheir. I'm almost terrified. I'm almost too terrified to ask, but how are you on this Carnival of Souls?
Seeking revenge on those who have wronged me.
I mean, it sounds like you are ready to obtain revenge as we speak. Your voice is terrifying. Now, Wraithful, I don't know if we've encountered you before, but Wraithful, are you also a remnant of Lemmec's original spell, or are you something else?
Something else entirely.
And how have you grasped control over Sword Coheir in this? Are you working on his behalf? Well, tell me your story, Sword Wraithful.
I am merely the infant. Inhibitions in darkness.
That
That
sword has
resides
let
within.
go? Oh, jeez. Well, Wraithful, in your terrifying state, what did you have an opportunity while you were out kind of seeking to make those pay for their transgressions? Did you perchance have an opportunity to grab an item from the Take One bucket that Bartholomew laid out?
Yes.
What did you select?
I had chosen the mirror. The vampire's
Yes. The vampire's vanity. Tell me, does Wraithful Coheir show up within the vampire's vanity?
Unfortunately, no.
Okay. Well, perhaps fortunately for Sword, who I hope is, well in all of this, and is able to come to their senses. But to you, Wraithful, I do say welcome back, or welcome for the first time, and, well, you've thoroughly spooked me. And before we get into tonight's adventure, I will circle back and also ask you, Antagon, did you take an item?
I did. I took the cloak of enshrouding darkness.
But of course, are you wearing it now?
I am.
Yes. And
I look even more evil than before.
your head obscured by the darkness of the hood. And to you, Lance Crimson Blood?
I have taken unto myself the vampire's vanity, that I may suss out other allies of the night.
Very good. And with that, now we will begin tonight's adventure. And to catch you all up to speed, you are within the Grim Hollow Manor. You've been here for some time, as all of you received fairly mysterious and slightly ominous missives that you should come to the Grim Hollow Manor for a dinner party with all of Bartholomew's adventuring troupe as one. No doubt, as Bartholomew has been kind of speaking around to people as you've gone through the day, the event is expected to be a trap of sorts. But Bartholomew has kind of, as we begin, you've all been here for some time, and dinner is getting very near approaching. It's getting on in the night, and you've noticed there are quite a few people here, but the number of adventurers seems to have thinned down. You're not sure if a few people have left, but regardless, all of you in your own, as you've been kind of mingling throughout the evening, speaking, enjoying yourselves, or perhaps wreaking whatever havoc you may have been upon the event. Bartholomew now pulls you aside here within Grim Hollow Manor.
There have been many tricks ahead. Many, many tricks. I've even stolen candy from baby.
There was a baby here at one point, and you did take candy from them. But as you're kind of coming over, Antagon, you have the cloak of enshrouding darkness on, kind of covering up your the red of your face. And as you get closer, Bartholomew comes up. Sword Lance, Kurogan, good to see you all well. Hello, Anadolsha, good to see you.
Antagon, thank you very much. Do not compare me to that fool who I have to share a body with.
Do you take the hood off, revealing your terrifying face?
Yes.
The red scales. Oh dear, it seems that I'm gonna have to check that out at some point. I'm sure Kurogan doesn't like it that he loses himself once a year, but...
He doesn't. It's wonderful.
Well, I suppose I need you all now, so I will have to... well, are you interested in work? It's for money, obviously, and you may actually get to perform some theft.
Well, that is the only kind of work I like. Theft? Oh, this sounds fun.
Anadolsha, are you going to be safe with these three? They all seem not themselves.
I get to handle myself. And besides, well, he took candy from the baby. I took the baby. And you see, like, already Molly just stuck somewhere on her. It's the baby. He stole the candy.
Why? Bartholomew, you asked. Are you just bringing it back, bringing the baby back to the orphanage?
Yes, though it's gonna be my orphanage, not the orphanage it originally came from, so...
Oh, well, that is good. We will see that that child is properly escorted back to a place where they can be safe. But this is aside the point. So you're all no doubt aware that this is a trap, yes?
I mean, obviously, I wouldn't have been here if it wasn't a trap.
I mean,
Do you honestly think we would have come here if it wasn't a trap?
I mean, if it's a trap, it just means more chances for me to turn things to gold and make more money.
Well, I like your attitude, and all of your attitudes, frankly. Yes, and, well, when I was walking in, Lemmec was outside, and he was, he was just skulking around. He didn't have an invitation. I mean, it's Lemmec, so...
Oh, I love that guy. Lemmec's cool.
Yes, well...
Wait, was he the skeleton that exploded last year?
He's exploded a few times, but I can't...
He kind of explodes every time we see him.
Yes, we foil whatever evil plan he has, but he comes back annually, as it were. Can't seem to track down his phylactery, wherever that is. He's certainly done a good job of hiding that. So he keeps coming back, no matter how many times we bring him down, unfortunately. So, there is that. I need you all to keep an eye on him, and if it seems like some of you are fans of his, so you should be fine in interacting with him. And I've figured out the ideal cover for you.
Is this not covered enough that he can't even see my face?
No, you're going to be working with the staff here. As the dinner begins, you'll be, moving around the table and waiting on people, particularly make sure Lemmec gets everything he wants, and, well, just see what he's up to there.
Sounds too simple.
Well, it should be relatively easy, I hope so. But I just need to make sure that he is watched, because whatever he's planning, I want to, put it into it as quickly as possible.
Then may I ask a question?
Yes.
If by chance he loses that staff of his, would it be fair to say that it would be proper to hand it to a certain wizard who has a really big bag full of magical items?
If you can steal his staff, please, I'll take it.
Done.
I'll consider that a treasure, because my second thing is this house is owned by an old friend of mine, and he was loaded. And I don't think, since Lemmec must have been the one that bought it, he's realized that there's, so much treasure just hidden all around. So if you find anything that seems valuable, also bring that back to me, and I'll pay something of a bounty for it later on.
Wonderful. Also, I can't wait to see what kind of evil plots that Lemmec has come up with. It might give me some ideas of my own.
don't do that. And, hold on a second, I need to cover you up now. And Bartholomew snapped his fingers, and all of you turn invisible. And you see walking towards you a dwarf. They are completely clean-shaven, dressed in a very fine suit, and they have coattails kind of trailing behind them. And they approach Bartholomew, and he says, yes, good evening, Bartholomew. As we had previously discussed, I was made aware that you had some unseen servants that you had prepared for us. As you know, earlier in the night, one of them was unfortunately destroyed. Additionally, well, we were already a little bit down, so anything that you can offer would be of great help. And Bartholomew just, yes, well, you can't see them, but they are right here in front of you. Let me hand all of them something. And Bartholomew just kind of takes some random, like, cooking supplies and stuff out of his bag, and he hands each of you something. He gives you, like, Kurogan, he gives you a frying pan, to you, Frog, a spatula, and he puts an apron over you, Lance, and then Wraithful, he puts just like a chef's hat on your head, and he goes, here the four of them are. You'll find all of them significantly more competent than a typical unseen servant. They are a bit sturdier, some of them are larger, but they have worked with me through quite a long time.
Out of character, normally anything that we have on us would turn invisible with an invisibility spell, so I'm assuming that this is a special invisibility spell.
Everything on you turned invisible. You guys are all completely gone, except
so
for the
then
things
these are special items?
The things that he's handed to you since did not turn invisible when he handed them to you.
What about Lady Molly?
Lady Molly is also now invisible.
All right.
Interesting, invisibility spell.
And Bartholomew kind of looks over you, in my own mind about how invisibility works, because this isn't specified, things that you're wearing or kind of wearing when you get it aren't invisible, but like you can pick stuff up after, and it doesn't like become invisible for touching it, is my always thought. But
it's different per DM, but
yeah,
I mean this works for
anyway,
what we're doing. So
yeah, that's the
It's
situation.
Bartholomew.
That's the
yeah, he's got tricky dicky things he does.
You all are you're all there, and this person, so Bartholomew speaks over to this dwarf. So, Mr. Godfrey, I trust that these four will be capable hands for you to use as you will. They have a bit more will, perhaps, than the average unseen servant, so you can give them some more complicated tasks if need be. Great with customer service. And Bartholomew kind of nods and walks away, and this individual, Mr. Godfrey, as Bartholomew had referred to him, he greeted you when you all entered originally. He's been a very dutiful butler. He's gotten everything that you've needed, post-with and pronto. He's been very efficient in all his moves. He looks over at the four of you, and he says, very well, all of you, if you would come with me, I will guide you into the kitchen and provide you with your tasks. To begin with, I'll need you all to start setting the table. Dinner's going to be starting very soon. We're just finishing up with the first course now. Preparation. Come. And he just kind of gestures and starts walking briskly off to the kitchen.
Okay, I guess I'm gonna follow.
And as you're all kind of like following behind him, you begin to hear, you see Bartholomew on the side of the room kind of casting some kind of spell, and all of a sudden your thoughts become completely clear to all of you. He has casted some kind of spell linking your minds together telepathically. Not with him, but with each other, so that you can speak in this unseen servant form.
This is pretty interesting. Also, who wants to pull some mad pranks while we're serving things?
Of course, but of course.
But while they're doing that, Anadolsha's like looking around to see if there's any of those special items that, or anything that maybe kind of like seems not of the normal for like certain items.
Kurogan's also looking. Antagon's also looking around for anything that looks especially valuable or magical.
Yeah, you're kind of looking around this foyer area, and from what you can tell as you're walking around, because you're in the main section of the house, it looks like this place is actually pretty strict clean. You can see like a couple of places on the wall where things have already been like, you can just see like dust marks where something used to be but now isn't. It looks like most of what has was maybe valuable in this first opening area has already been taken.
Question, like, how high is the, like, just how high is the area, actually?
This main foyer is pretty tall. It gets up to about 50 feet at the top, but as you're moving forward, and so you're kind of following along behind Mr. Godfrey, right?
I guess so. Yeah, we're heading to the kitchen, right? So
Yes.
is there any like hallway or something?
Yeah, there is a hallway that you're passing through, and that hallway is about 10 feet tall. It's not in particularly. Kurogan, you're as a very big individual, you're like almost crouching, like it's a little bit claustrophobic, but it's not, it's nothing terrible. And you all, work your way down that hallway, and you come out into a very large open chamber with another kind of like 50-foot vaulted ceiling, kind of floating above you. There are various kind of like torches that seem to be like magically illuminated. There's a couple of very beautiful chandeliers that are hanging down, and very long tables at which you can see the majority of the adventurers are already kind of seated at. You can see Bartholomew taking a seat at one end of a very long table, and you see over on the side of the room, kind of currently engaged in loud conversation, you can just overhear Lemmec talking to some of the adventurers around there.
There he is. I definitely need to overhear some of his plan.
But as he's there kind of talking, you're kind of quickly, ordered by Mr. Godfrey, who doesn't seem to have like a full grasp. I mean, you can see the objects that you're all holding, but he is having like somewhat of a hard time keeping track of you, but he gestures for all of you. Come forward now. I'm going to set you up in the kitchen, and then we'll get you out there. Like I said, to begin with, we'll need you to set the table.
I'm not, knowing full well he can't see me.
The frying pan kind of like just kind of moves a tiny bit as you kind of nod, and he kind of looks a little bit curiously at you, kind of not quite expecting the reaction, but kind of nods and goes about tasking other unseen servants, and the kitchen seems to be manned entirely about them. The kitchen is just moving on what looks like autopilot, as a number of unseen servants you can't quite grasp at are all operating and cooking and preparing and kind of transporting items and such around.
So one thing Anadolsha wants to do, as far as the butler's aware, there's only 4 of us.
Yes.
Anadolsha's gonna take the spatula and just have it go have Lady Molly take it to her mouth while Anadolsha flies to the chandelier to investigate.
All right. You stick the spatula to Lady Molly, and you just kind of fly over and look down upon the room. You're kind of like investigating up at the top and the whole area there.
Yeah, pretty much. Like it says I can fly now because of the bat hat.
Yeah, I'm with you. Go ahead and make me an investigation check. All right. So as you're looking around, up at the top of the chandelier, these chandeliers are kind of held into by support beams, and one of those support beams that's holding up the kind of central chandelier and kind of sticking it into the ceiling, it doesn't actually seem to be supported by, like it's not built into the ceiling like the other 2 are. It actually seems to just be latching onto an immovable rod. Definitely it would be considered a treasure.
Ooh. That was like she recognized probably says that things are treasure, but if it's just being held up by a single...
Yeah, there's one immovable rod that's holding this whole chandelier. It's right over one of the central tables. It would be definitely extremely noticeable in a room full of adventurers if it went down all of a sudden. So you'd need to figure something out. But
question. Yeah. All right. So, my question is like, so far, like everything that's on our person is invisible.
Yep.
Okay. So, what Anadolsha might do, because the whole thing with the immovable rod, even though she has one of her own, she is going to. I'm trying to see if I have something for this. Apparently I do not at the moment. But actually, wait. What's that thing? Is it some sort of pack? I think it was the Dungeoneers Pack I got.
And while you were up here, kind of contemplating this, back down at the back down, kind of in the kitchen with the rest of you, you see Sir Godfrey kind of comes up to you, wraithful, and he hands you a stack of plates, and he hands you, Antagon, like a whole bunch of like rows of napkins, asking you essentially, and he says, I will need you to place a plate at each person's set. You will fold the napkins and place them, and he kind of basically shows you like the folding pattern and precisely like the manner in which they needed to be folded. He looks over at you. Crimson Blood, and says, silverware, and fork on the right, knife on the left, and that's incorrect, in which case he said it correctly, because I can't remember right now. And looks down to Lady Molly, and hands out to Lady Molly, just passes over what looks like a bunch of like salt shakers and pepper shakers to like be laid out on the table, and starts handing them to Lady Molly. You're up at the chandelier right now, and as he goes to like give them to Lady Molly, Lady Molly's just kind of there looking at him, panting, presumably.
I mean, Lady Molly's pretty much been trained to fetch stuff, so I'm pretty sure that the best thing she would do is probably like stick her head to where they would stick.
All right, but like he's like handing them to her, like just holding them out, expecting, and like holding them at a height that's higher than Lady Molly is, or the spatula is. And he kind of like starts lowering them down, because Lady Molly is a mastiff at the end of the day. Like she doesn't have any enhanced intelligence, right?
No enhanced intelligence. I mean.
Okay, yeah. So Lady Molly's there, kind of like putting her head up to him, and like one's kind of bounced awkwardly off the head, and like the salt's kind of pouring out at the side, and Sir Godfrey is just kind of, I need you to take these salt and pepper shakers and put them on the table at the places that I've told you. And he seems to be getting a little bit frustrated. What are the rest of you doing while this is happening?
How fine is the china?
The china here is, I mean, it's fine. Decidedly fine. Not like Bartholomew treasure quality, but fine.
So,
As soon as Godfrey leaves the vicinity, I take my holy water and start dripping it on the plates before handing them out to me and setting them on the table.
Putting holy water upon them, very well. But Godfrey right now is like getting kind of confused and frustrated with this unseen servant that does not seem to be functioning as an unseen servant.
I'm going to like say to whoever's next to me, I guess Lance, take these real quick. I hand him the napkins, and I take the salt and pepper shakers real quick.
You just kind of like walk over in the place of that unseen servant and just grab them like you were them. All right, I'd like you to make me a. You can choose either stealth or performance.
I'm actually better at stealth than performance, so I'm gonna do that.
Yeah, 15. All right, yeah, you go over and you kind of subtly, basically you're having like Lance, so Lance, are you just like holding the napkins awkwardly to the side like you were in a different spot?
It looks like they would be under an unseen servant's arm, a bit more crumpled and kind of just vaguely to the left of the silver.
And Antagon, you go over and just grab the salt shakers.
Anadolsha, where are you, you fool?
And you hear that in your mind.
Anadolsha like pretty much says, I found the treasure, but it's gonna take some time for me to acquire it. If you can, actually, and before I finish, you said that Bartholomew cast telepathy on all of us? Would that include Lady Molly?
No, he did not cast it on Lady Molly. He cast it amongst the four of you.
Okay.
Look, you need to take this salt and pepper. I cannot do 2 jobs at once. You need to do your job and then you can think about the magic item.
All right, well, just in case, like, I'll help out, probably swap out every now and then, but there's a movable rod up here by the support beam, and I'm just, just letting y'all know beforehand, so, yeah. And Anadolsha will go there and get the salt and pepper.
That's cool and all, but I already have an immovable rod. It's not that rare.
But,
It's that simple. Just click the button and that will release it.
Yeah, the Anadolsha as well is holding up the support beam, which is
Sounds
right
like a
above
problem
the
for the
table.
adventurers below, not us.
Look, just take the salt and pepper. I will do my napkins and then I will help you.
I am coming. And she just goes down there, grabs salt and pepper, and like starts going back to the tables and like sending them out.
All right, so you guys are all going to start going around and kind of placing the things upon the tables in the manner that was done? Was asked?
Yes. Yes,
All
except for one. I'm going to place one of the napkins gently off-center.
So
like
evil.
super subtly off-center.
I do have a question. Wait, can we communicate back to Bartholomew with the telepathy?
Also, it does not seem to link up to Bartholomew. He just connected the 4 of you so that you could speak with each other while you were unseen.
All right, then I guess I have to find another way to do that.
I mean, he's sitting at the table. So you guys are moving through, and I imagine you're all kind of moving in sync with each other as you're going down and placing. And the adventurers here are kind of all, they've seen magic like this before, but people are kind of duly impressed as the unseen servants are just kind of placing things down. Occasionally there's like a bump or a nudge, and they kind of like look behind as, there's nothing there. You guys are, the invisibility upon you is
While I'm
effective.
also going around, I want to if there are any chairs that look like, I don't know, a bottom of their stool, like one of their legs is loose enough, I'm gonna make it looser and wobbly.
All right, go ahead and make me an investigation check.
Sure. 14.
All right, as you're going through it and looking for kind of a slightly defective chair, you guys are placing stuff on tables. There is what appears to be a paladin. You don't recognize them, but they're sitting down at the table right next to Lemmec. And this paladin to Lemmec's right, the kind of one of the legs is kind of affixed poorly, and the kind of dolly that holds it in is definitely loose.
Time to loosen it even more until it breaks. Under the paladin's weight.
Okay, you lean down and kind of make it a little bit worse. But right next to Lemmec, while they're there, you can see, Lemmec's definitely here speaking pretty loudly as things are going through, and you guys are kind of able to hear a little bit of their conversation. You see across from Lemmec, there seems to be sitting another adventurer you don't recognize. They look young, maybe they're new, they're like an elf, and they're speaking. So you're really Lemmec, huh? The Lich?
The one and only. Of course.
I heard you, killed a ton of adventurers.
Everyone's done things in the past. Does it really matter if you kill one of Bartholomew's adventurers? You all come back.
What
Not
about
that bad.
what about
I
the
haven't. What?
what about the non-adventurers?
I haven't killed a non-adventurer in a week. I'll tell you, my evil management classes have really been helping. Me and Grimbo have been going every Sunday. It's wonderful.
Grimbo?
Yeah, Grimbo, my buddy, back from the carnival. He's a beholder.
You hang out
He's
with the
great.
beholder? And some of the other adventurers you see are kind of edging away from Lemmec, definitely nervous of him.
What?
To the right of him, that paladin kind of looks over at Lemmec and goes, "I don't believe it. No matter what you say, vile lich, you shall never be on the side of good."
And then he collapsed.
Okay.
And then he's
What?
gonna make a dexterity saving throw.
Okay, so while that's happening, Anadolsha does, after sending out the salt and pepper, Anadolsha would, tug gently on Bartholomew's, robe a bit, and, she'll probably have, some component pouch stuff, and, kind of spell out as kind of as short as possible, immovable rod above.
Okay, Bartholomew, as you're kind of getting closer, as you're getting closer, you see he's just looking at you through the invisibility as you're walking up.
So he probably actually sees me?
Yeah, it seems like Bartholomew definitely has some true sight.
Alright, so in that case, Anadolsha kind of points up to where the immovable rod is.
All right, yeah, you kind of point up to the immovable rod, and then Bartholomew just kind of looks at you, and he just kind of now speaks in your mind, and he just goes, "What's up?"
Wait, can I? Am I able to respond to him? He's
yeah, it seems. I don't know. You could try.
Oh yeah, and also at least attempt to respond back to him. I found an immovable rod, but the problem is it's holding up the support beam right above this table.
And Bartholomew kind of looks up at the central chandelier and just goes, "Oh, yeah, that's going to be tough. Best of luck." And he kind of goes back to kind of eating and working his way through his meal.
Oh, be careful! Your chair just broke.
Yeah, and underneath this paladin on the other side of the table, the chair kind of collapses underneath him, and you see him for a second. It seems like he's gonna go over Antagon, but he stands resolute and steps a foot back, and he looks over at Lemmec. "How dare you, demon? How could you do such a thing? You have defiled my chair."
I'm undead. I'm not a demon.
Wait. Since all this happened, Anadolsha's going to. All right, so the Dungeoneers.
This was happening while
Let's conclude the scene.
Yeah, wait for a moment.
All right.
Yeah, but anyway, he kind of says, "How dare you, demon?"
Oh, look. First, not a demon, undead. Big difference. You should know that. Secondly, I didn't break your. I tried to warn you. I'll tell you, really everything's changed for me. A couple weeks ago or months ago, whatever, when I was last here, and Uchonkus said, "You know what, Lemmec, I like you." And that, I didn't know anyone ever liked me. Really changes things. I'm like, you're a dick.
The paladin kind of looks over you. "You go after the gratification of a false prophet like Uchonkus?"
Oh, that's too much. So, Antagon...
his eye sockets.
Antagon wants to put, does he have a cape?
The paladin? Oh, yeah, of course.
I'm going to put my immovable rod right in the center of that cape.
Oh, you have an immovable rod as well?
Yes, I do.
Okay, you're just going to take it out and kind of click it and put it on the cape?
Yep.
So, because it's, trailing on the ground, so you're trying to, stick it to the ground?
Yep.
All right, he's gonna make another dexterity saving throw. 11. All right, yeah. So he kind of steps towards Lemmec, and you see him getting almost aggressive, like he's gonna pull out a sword. And as he does, he just falls out from underneath him as he steps forward, and the cape drags him to the ground by his neck as he falls.
All these distracted. I'm gonna take back the immovable rod.
Make a stealth check.
While Lemmec's getting distracted by this, I will put his silverware down in a cross underneath the plate to look like a skull and crossbone.
Very well. You do
and
this.
Before he makes that stealth check, I will cast Bless. Dark blessings.
There's just a whisper in the air. A few of the adventurers kind of turn, like, what's that? And all of a sudden, you are blessed. The kind of timid elf across the way. Those were some scary whispers. And you make a stealth check. Yeah, 14. You grab the immovable rod. People are too focused. A lot of people are kind of covering up the sound with laughter at this paladin's really dumb-looking fall that he just did. And I have a question. Does Lemmec have a true sight?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
just to be clear. And you guys, what are your passive perceptions?
Mine is 11.
Mine is 14.
Mine is 19.
15.
All right, so I think Sword and Lance, both of you have seen Lemmec kind of just occasionally cast glances at both of you.
Can Lemmec's true sight see through Bartholomew's invisibility though?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Oh, okay, then yes.
So Lemmec is now kind of aware that you guys are kind of messing with it, almost helping him in this situation.
I give him an air fist.
These unseen servants are great. Oh, look, they're like little skulls with the silverware. This is great. I love this place.
I'll need the skull and crossbones and the nervous elf girl as well.
Good
all right, so Anadolsha's gonna take her own immovable rod and just it might mess up the dinner a bit, but for now she's gonna put it right in the middle of the support beam, lock it in, but add a way where it, like once he gets the other one, it might kind of like balance a bit, like make it where people.
You basically want to put a second immovable rod as a temporary hold while you take this one.
Kind of, except for I want to make it where it looks like it is actually going to be like tilting and about to fall. And hopefully, like it will warn the adventurers and everyone else below.
Okay, so you're doing this, and there's a critical moment right here where you're essentially making the choice to like let the weight shift happen.
The thing is, but that'll be right before I take the other immovable rod, the one that's the treasure.
Yeah, well, exactly. So what I'm saying is there's a critical moment here where you're transferring. So I need you to make me a intelligence check to see if you can get your balance right with the second immovable rod when you do this, to see whether or not it goes down, essentially.
So just a flat intelligence check?
This is intelligence. If you have a skill that you think you can justify for this, I can't think of one off the top, but if you have like a tool proficiency, maybe sleight of hand, I think.
Oh yeah, sleight of hand, definitely.
It'd be intelligence, but I'll let you add your sleight of hand proficiency if you have proficiency in that.
Okay, I have I do have proficiency.
All right, so make an intelligence check with proficiency.
Don't forget the bless.
You have bless as well.
Okay, how much does bless do?
1d4.
1d4.
All right, so
I like the idea that was in your head, Anadolsha, from such 1d4.
All right, so basically it'll be it's basically a sleight of hand but with intelligence.
Yes.
So that will be 4. So that'll be just a +4 from it. So give me a second.
Okay.
All right.
There we go.
16 in total. You grab the other rod and snap the other one into place, and you see for a moment it kind of like waggles and topples and moves to the side, and it's just kind of going far enough out of the way that it looks like it's going to kind of roll off of the rod the way that you have it set up there, and then it stabilizes and settles.
Well, the thing is, I wasn't going to take the treasure rod immediately.
Well, you can take it now. But now your rod is essentially the one that's supporting
The one thing is, like, the way I want to do it is like wait for a moment down there where I can actually, like in the actual dinner, where it's like kind of rambunctious, but I'll just take it at the end of the end, like I'll actually tip the support beam like during that time.
I don't understand what you're trying to do, if I'm being honest.
All right, so
No idea what you're going at.
Yeah.
Okay, basically,
Trying to set it up.
Are you saying
fall.
you just want to drop it eventually? Is what you're saying?
in a way, yes, but more like I'm waiting for a time where it's kind of like
So you're just waiting to grab it at a time.
I'm
you don't have to roll for that. You can just take it and let the chandelier fall anytime you want.
No, he's looking for a spot where it's not suspicious and it would fall.
Yeah, and
right?
you're waiting for a rowdy moment in the room.
Yeah.
This sounds like a rowdy moment to me.
Yeah, I'll probably like ask like one of the actually I'll just ask like one of the allies, like, is it possible for someone to like startle someone and make it look like they shut off a spell up here?
You hear in your mind.
And I will harmless tremors with presto, or not presto, thaumaturgy.
All right, and the ground kind of begins to shake a little bit in the area, and yeah, a couple of
When all
people,
that happens.
a few kind of plates are rattling on tables, and some of the other adventurers around there are looking a little bit confused. Bartholomew is kind of looking around like, oh, what could this be?
That's when Anadolsha takes the treasure rod and she will actually attempt to tip the support beam upwards where it looks like it's about to fall down on the farther end from Bartholomew and...
Okay, so it falls, is what you're saying.
It will fall. Just
You
take
can't
some
really
time.
make it like fly across the road. It's gonna go mostly
No,
down.
it's not gonna fly. It's just like it's gonna like tip upwards and then slide. That's what I'm trying to make it.
Okay. As you remove the.
You're trying to give people an opportunity to run out of the way. Is that what you're getting at?
Yes, exactly.
Okay, there you go. Yes.
Well, then in that case, Kurogan will just go and slowly glide the chandelier down.
Yeah, you can hold it down if you want to do that, and make it just kind of gently rest down to the ground.
I'm gonna kind of let it fall a little bit, and then make it look like the unseen servants.
Go ahead and make me a strength saving throw.
Sure.
You execute this movement. It slides a little bit to the
Oh,
side.
come on.
Oh no! It slides a little bit to the side.
Bless.
And Antagon, it's critical failure.
It's a crit fail.
There. And you kind of reach out and go to grab onto the chandelier, Antagon, and just slowly kind of lower it down. I mean, you're evil, but you're not gonna let a bunch of people get hurt. And then it just falls and slams down into the table. And the table kind of like folds in on itself. Bartholomew goes, "Oh, Jesus." As he kind of like rolls back in his chair a little bit. With Lemmec, how's Lemmec react?
Anadolsha, you did it too soon.
Lemmec subtly elbows unseen lens. What are they trying to do? Like, what's the game plan here?
I don't know, I'm just enjoying the show. I will try to communicate with hand
That guy
gestures.
got crushed to death.
Anadolsha, you fool. You dropped it too soon.
And
And I'm like, hey, it was when I was attempting to catch it.
You dropped it too soon.
And as soon as this happens, you see Mr. Godfrey kind of stride very purposefully into the room from the kitchen, and he kind of walks over and begins going over to some of the. He begins kind of going over to some of the miscellaneous guests around the area, and just kind of like points and like snaps at you guys, the unseen servants, and he's pointing like straight in your directions, like he does seem to get where you are, which is definitely strange from the way that he was acting earlier, and he just gestures angrily into the kitchen.
Anadolsha takes her actual original immovable rod and flies down to arrive back on Lady Ma.
All right, you have two immovable rods. Bartholomew kind of looks over at you, and he just kind of pulls to the side and just opens the bag a little bit, and kind of like gestures
She pretty much just flies over and just drops it in.
You just drop the immovable rod in, and Bartholomew, you see Bartholomew very suspiciously just kind of like whistle there at the end of the table as he takes it, and the rest of you go. Do you guys go back in the kitchen on orders?
Pretty much, I guess.
I feel like he would know if we didn't. So
Yeah, I
I'll
suppose so.
help drag out Antagon.
So Antagon, you kind of come out, and he begins kind of placing the he kind of begins like fixing things up. You hear him just in the background like apologizing to all of the guests and promising to receive medical attention to anyone that was injured, and making all of these kind of statements. You guys move back into the kitchen, and like work in a lot of these unseen servants has kind of stopped completely. And as soon as you guys enter in, everyone just kind of like hurriedly gets back to work. All of the unseen servants do. And before too long, Mr. Godfrey walks back into the kitchen, and he kind of speaks. "I have never seen such insubordination amongst conjured individuals. This was an abhorrent display." And he kind of like just kind of takes a moment, and he kind of calms himself down, and he goes, "They have no thoughts. They have no feelings. This is your fault." And he looks back at the four of you, and he goes, "If the four of you could perhaps," and he kind of points over onto the side of the room and kind of into another room. "Beyond there is the aquarium. We need you to obtain the fish for tonight's dinner." And he just basically shows you a picture book, and it's it looks like a particular breed of cod that they are serving as one of the main dishes here. And he goes, there are a number of them stocked within the aquarium. Go and obtain one and bring it back to me immediately.
Anadolsha leaves over there with Lady Molly to the aquarium.
Antagon will also go. He's also while they're fishing, he kind of wants to look for any fish that might be able to poison the cod.
Oh jeez. All right.
Look,
so
I don't think you understand how evil Antagon is.
Well, Antagon he's already moved a napkin slightly, so we know that Antagon is a criminal mastermind. And so you move next into this room, and as you kind of step forward and ahead, you can see there is a very large tank here. You're coming into an open space with aquarium walls that wrap all and around here, and there are a whole bunch of fish that are floating, and there are fish of all sizes. You see not just like stocked fish, you see like tuna and salmon, and they're kind of like divided in tanks by different, fresh and saltwater fish. But they're also like larger kind of game fish here. You see like a shark kind of swim past within the tank, and you can see ladders kind of leaning up and within and into the tank.
Cool.
So yeah, Anadolsha can actually breathe underwater, so.
Antagon's just gonna fly up.
All right, you're now kind of rested above the tank, and the inside of here, there are like so many of these tanks, like the kind of saltwater one, and the saltwater one seems to be like decorated pretty well. There are like coral and stuff that kind of comes out of here. As much as this is stock for food, it looks like, it's also very decorative. There are a few like tropical fish in places that you can see swimming around. It is a menagerie of sea creatures.
Do there happen to be a certain kind of inflatable fish?
You're looking for the pufferfish. Go ahead and make an investigation check. The fuku fish.
Yes.
Anadolsha's probably gonna be at the freshwater tank looking for the cod.
Very well. As you're looking around, actually, cod, I believe, are saltwater fish.
Yes.
So you're looking in the saltwater tank for the cod, and yeah, Antagon, you're looking around. You're not immediately seeing anything. Just like looking in the surface, it's a little bit tough to see without being like within the water. You might have to dive into the tank and look around a little bit more.
I guess I'm going in the tank.
All right, you want to dive right in?
Yep.
All right.
My breath. But...
Okay, you're swimming around, and you're not again immediately seeing, but you guys all see a disturbance of water. It's a very strange kind of image, as there's just what looks like a Kurogan-shaped bubble in the water that is like now moving through, just opening up space within the tank as he's now swimming around, kind of looking around for the appropriate fish. You hold your breath as best you can while you're down there.
My armor is, of course, helping. Doesn't actually have an ability or anything, but
I mean, of course it is, though, because it's your armor.
Yeah.
What's your Constitution score?
My Constitution score is a 14.
So you have +2. You can hold your breath for a couple minutes without any issue, so you're good. What's everyone else doing?
Since Anadolsha just believes that cod is probably a freshwater fish, so she's probably looking in the freshwater tank.
All right, you're looking around the freshwater fish. You've spent a good amount of time there, and you're not quite seeing anything that matches the description of the fish that you were looking for. There's some nice goldfish in there, some carp you see, but not.
Would it also be anything like what Bartholomew you might be looking for?
Make an investigation check.
1 second.
21.
Oh damn.
There in the saltwater, the freshwater tank, you're looking around and you don't see anything that looks like kind of a treasured object. But as you get to the border, because there's a glass wall that separates the salt and freshwater tanks, and you can see on the other side of that wall, there's like a lot of decorations in here. You see there's one of those You see that there's one of those like chests that like open up and kind of release bubbles in here, like you'd put in like a smaller fish tank. And as you're kind of looking at it and you see it open, as it opens up, it seems to glow with a golden light coming from within inside of it, and then it kind of closes down again.
Oh, okay. So, and also like let people like the allies know that she found a treasure in the saltwater tank, but she's in the freshwater tank right.
Okay, well, Kurogan will go over to that first then. Antagon.
Kurogan there.
Crimson Blood and Wraithful, what are you guys up to?
I'll continue looking for the cod.
All right, so you also make me an investigation check. Wraithful. Oh no, you can't find a cod. There's actually, you're confident that cod does not, that there is no such fish, and that your efforts here are going to be fruitless and you're going to get in trouble again. But you're swimming around looking nonetheless, to no avail as of yet. And does she getting over into that tank as well?
Yeah, I'll just fly out of the, or carefully fly out of the salt water and then into the fresh water into the salt water.
All right.
And start looking for cod because she knows she ain't gonna get in trouble again, even though it wasn't her fault the chandelier failed.
It's at least 50%.
Yeah, it was at least 50%.
About 50%, but not entirely her fault.
Yeah, exactly. That is fair. So you guys are swimming around in the tank, and most fish are kind of leaving you alone because you are these like I said, kind of strange areas of no water in the tank that are just kind of like floating around, and you can see your bubbled silhouettes, each of you, as you're now almost visible here in the water. You swim downward and begin kind of like, pushing and moving your way through, and what you end up kind of seeing is this treasure chest, and it's opening at like a regular interval. As it pops open, you can see within it what looks like a golden pearl of some kind, which then kind of it closes again, and then whoop, and then
I will grab it.
All right, I need you to make me a sleight of hand check to time the dexterity perfectly.
I will guidance him.
You're still blessed, I believe, from so actually, how long does blessed only lasts a minute, right?
10 minutes.
10 minutes? Yeah, you're still blessed. So 14. You kind of put your hand in and it goes foom, foom, and as you're kind of reaching it in, you grab hold of it and you begin to pull it out. But as you pull it out, you're not quite quick enough. It fumbles for the briefest of moments, and the chest closes down on your arm, crushing your arm for 11 points of bludgeoning damage.
Ouch.
I was mistaken, it is 1.
1 minute? Okay. The bless didn't apply, but it wasn't enough. Anyway, so you reach in and your arm, Antagon, you can feel it. Oh! I need you to make a dex save.
Sure. 16.
16. You manage to hold on to the pearl even despite the pain in your arm, and as it opens back up, it kind of goes out and you're able to easily kind of wrench your arm free, and you're now holding what looks like another treasure for Bartholomew. And as you remove it, from underneath you, there's a sudden stirring in the sand, and from below you are suddenly struck by a strange, it looks almost like a manta ray that just kind of emerges from the sand and goes up and is going to make an attack against you with advantages. It was an unseen attacker. And it's going to... That's a 23, Kurogan.
That does hit.
And then it's going to... It's a 19.
That does not hit.
All right. As Kurogan, all of a sudden you're there in the water, this manta ray kind of comes up and you see like a flash, this thing, it kind of wraps its kind of fins out and around Kurogan, surrounding him and kind of choking him like a cloak as it wraps around your head. I would like you all to roll for initiative.
That's a lot of 17s and 8s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now the mission is
it's a surprise round.
all go at the same time.
This happened last week too.
All right. And that's going to bring us then to the top of the initiative, which is going to be you, Antagon. You were just all of a sudden beset by this strange thing, which, as it kind of wraps around you, it's also making like this terrifying like noise.
I take out my Franken blade. You remember that, right?
But of course.
And I am stabbing it.
All right.
All right, Franken blade. Come on. Wow, that's really low. Does that hit?
No, unfortunately, it does not hit, and you are currently blinded, for the record, as this thing is wrapped around your head, so it's a disadvantage.
Well.
But a 12 will unfortunately miss.
Well, here's another one. 21.
21 will indeed hit. You slash into this thing for a grand total of 18
damage.
And as
6 of which is lightning.
And as you're kind of slashing at it, you're also just accidentally cutting into yourself as you hit it. As you are subjected to the damage transfer, you take half of the damage that you deal to this thing while it's attached to you. You take 9 points of damage. But this thing kind of like lets out like a terrible screech while you're holding on to it. And anything else on your turn?
I will use bonus action to transfer energy from into my Knight's Crest to activate. I think the Dragon's Hide.
I'm gonna go into a defensive state here. Yeah, it's a good idea.
Also, I grow one size larger, so is it still attached to my head?
It can still attach to your head, unfortunately. Yeah. It's still wrapped around and you're unable to see at this moment. As we move next in initiative 2, as Kurogan swells to a massive size, like water's now kind of like getting sloshed off the top of the tank as your size kind of increases and fills up more volume herein. Anadolsha, what do you wish to do?
Yeah, seeing Antagon in danger, she busts out something from her costume's idea. You see like a little screen pop up that says ban/timeout target, and she just like tries to. Give me a moment. Pretty much banishment.
Oh wait, it's going to make a charisma saving throw, I believe, yes?
Yep.
Unfortunately it's going to succeed. You attempt to banish the cloaker as it's wrapped around Antagon's head, but you are unable to do so. Anything else on your turn, Anadolsha?
I don't want to waste that, so... At the moment, Anadolsha, well, let me see, what kind of... Is this an action or...
That's an action, absolutely.
No, something else I want to check. I want to see if it's an action or...
Well, whilst you do that, we'll move next into Crimson Blood and let me know if you find it. Lance, what do you want to do?
Antagon, you've gotten rusty.
Do you have it now, Frog?
It's been a whole year since I've been out, okay?
What is it?
I can't do it.
Okay,
yeah, because it's also an action. So.
Very well. Lance, what's the play?
I shall strike with my blade at this creature, the water suddenly glowing a blood red as a crimson light begins to pour out from my blade.
Oh dear. Attack away. 24 is absolutely going to hit, as will a 16. A total of 18 of radiant. Kurogan, oh wait, that was the first attack. Woo!
And I even clipped it off for the second. It's just the 9 on the second.
So that's 9 and 7. It takes a total of 16 damage, as do you, Kurogan. You take 16 points of damage.
You know that hurts, doesn't it?
As you stab through, heedless of your ally within, you evil lance, and you stab in the cloaker, and hisses out. But is there anything else on your turn, Lance?
But of course, the cloaker hasn't released yet.
Oof, that is definitely gonna hit. For another 14, Kurogan, you take another 7, the cloaker takes another 7.
I'm going to have to ask you to stop doing that. That hurts a lot.
We can tend to that once you get this rubbish off your face.
Want me to take it off myself?
As we move
Then hurry.
As we move next in initiative to Wraithful, what do you wish to do?
I shall cast Healing Word on Antagon.
Very well. You speak a healing word, Antagon. You gain how many points of how many hit points? Go ahead and roll that. 12 hit points. Nice. As you
almost cancels out the first strike from Lance.
I mean, it's a. Oh no, it does more than cancel out the first strike. It only took 9 from the first hit. It does more than that. So you heal for 12, and that's just your bonus action. Anything else on your turn, Wraithful?
Depends. Can I cast another spell?
Yes. You can cast a, or you can do at least a cantrip. Or you can, make an attack or. So what's it gonna be?
I shall ready an attack once he is freed
All right.
from this.
Very well. You prepare yourself to strike just as soon as you are able to do so. Oh, I forgot to. It's been one round now, and everyone's been treated equally by it, so I won't count it. But Lance, you should have had disadvantage because you're underwater. So moving forward, we'll remember that. And so that's going to bring us next to you. I mean, it's going to continue to bite at you, as you're the only one it can attack while it is on you. So it's going to strike you with advantage. That's a 16, Kurogan. I assume that
fails.
And that's a critical 26. Its stinging tail kind of lashes down and stabs into you once more. You take another 16 points of slashing damage as it cuts into your kind of midsection while it's still clambering on top of your head. That's going to bring us to the top of the initiative, which is you, Kurogan.
Cool. Antagon is, I believe second wind is a bonus action.
Yes, it is.
With a second wind, because your boy hurts.
Yeah, that's fair. Cloakers can be nasty.
I cancel out that damage.
You get rid of that crit.
And then we use my action to get this thing off my head.
All right, go ahead and make me a strength check.
21.
You
It is off my head.
And with like a powerful grasp, you just drag it and rip it from your face. The thing hisses and kind of moans. You move it.
Get off me, you bastard!
And you place it down nice and easy in front of Wraithful Coheir, who had a ready to attack. Go ahead and make your attack roll, Wraithful. You are at disadvantage, unfortunately, because of the. Yeah, it's not going to get you there. You swing through the water, but the water's a little awkward to kind of move through with such a heavy weapon. As we move,
especially with a square hammer.
Yeah, that's true. As we move next to Anadolsha, what do you want to do? The creature has been made free.
Anadolsha, she can't really help because of the whole disadvantage of everyone else, but she can at least help herself with this.
All right. You cast freedom of movement upon yourself. You cannot be paralyzed or restrained for an hour. Anything else on your turn?
She's looking around to see if there's any cod nearby.
Investigation check.
Oh yes, just ignore the fight.
She's just looking around to see if it's nearby.
Yeah, that's fine. Not catching any at the moment. As we move next to Lance. What do you want to do, Lance?
Rip and tear at this thing that Antagon finally managed to tear off.
Go ahead and make me a attack roll with disadvantage. 14 will still hit, and 19 will hit. Roll that damage. 7 and Another 10. All right, would you care to describe your killing blow on this cloaker? No longer getting that resistance. It takes the full brunt of that 17.
As Kurogan tears it off and it's kind of lolling through the water, reeling, and sword takes a swing and a miss. Crimson Blood Lance, standing nearby, ready to handle this now, just slashes at it once and then cleaves it in two as it flows to either side, the blood mixing in with the blood-red light coming from his blade.
Excellent. And as you have described it, the cloaker kind of hisses as it is cleft. And the kind of, the remains of it slowly kind of float, the blood lingering with the crimson light as it sinks slowly to the bottom of the tank. And as the blood kind of begins kind of seeping and moving upward here, you see a whole bunch of sharks beginning to kind of congregate and move into this space, partially drawn by the blood of Kurogan, and partially by the blood of this creature which has now fallen. You guys kind of, sidle out of the way. They don't seem to be focused too much on you. They seem to be focused on the body of this thing. And as the sharks kind of swarm it, you see a whole bunch of saltwater fish begin kind of reoccupying spaces where sharks were. And among them, you catch a cod if you want to grab one.
Anadolsha will catch
Oh, you
one.
bet.
Yeah, Anadolsha's catching, or at least try to catch as many as she can with the bird fly.
Very good.
Antagon is gonna catch a couple, but still look for a pufferfish or other,
As you're,
deadly fish.
It's been some time now, but I think you have time in this moment while you guys are grabbing the cod that you need. That you guys can get one more investigation check to see if you can snipe a more deadly fish, and you'll find one fugu fish.
So, lads, can you prestidigitate this to look like something else or whatever illusion-like thing you can do?
I can't handle much in the way of illusions, but I'm certain the guest will be none the wiser. Meat is meat after all.
Who wants to, can any of you do anything to make it look like a cod?
I cannot.
Well, a fugu fish, when it's not inflated, is flat. I'm just gonna put it inside a cod.
Very well. So you catch all of the cod that you need, and you're going to essentially try and you're essentially going to put this thing and flay the cod and put the fish inside of it, is what you're saying?
Pretty much.
All right, you do that, and as you kind of come back into the space with all of the cod that you have caught, there was kind of some buckets and stuff you're able to store them in. You get a bunch of your butterfly net there. And Anadolsha, you kind of take the bucket and kind of place it down before him, and Mr. Godfrey barely seems to pay any attention to the fish, and he says, "Good work, all of you." And he looks over and he just kind of starts pointing at other unseen servants in the space and kind of commanding around, and he gestures over to the the bucket, and they start taking it out, and these unseen servants begin handling it. And the unseen servants don't seem to be wise enough to know.
You have to cook it very specifically to make it safe again.
If they knew, maybe, but they definitely aren't really looking for it, so they're good.
Yes, Antagon does need healing. He is damaged.
I will heal Antagon, chuckling smugly about his situation.
Look, it's been a year, okay? It's been a long time.
I shall cast cure wounds on him.
While you're doing that, I'm gonna check on Lemmec and Bartholomew and all.
Very good. And as you're kind of heading out, actually, you see Mr. Godfrey kind of looks over at you and he goes, "Good, you're already there. It's time to serve the first course. It is," and he kind of moves over to you a pot among the plates. You can see that they have now also made sure that bowls got out to all the tables with some other unseen servants while you were gone. And there is a very fine looking soup here that they want you to kind of go out and ladle amongst all of the plates and such.
But is it on what's it called, a dolly or anything?
Yeah, it's on a tray, which you are able to push.
All right, so yeah.
Especially
and-
with your flight, you can just kind of fly up to the.
Yeah.
You guys take care of that healing on the side. You can kind of like fly up to the height of the tray and then just kind of fly it forward, which is very cool if you could see it, but everyone just assumes that you're walking with it.
Yeah, so yeah, and also is pretty much going to help with the ladling to the bowls and whatnot.
All right, very good. To the rest of you going out there and also helping with the serving here, there's like breads and things that need to be kind of tossed around.
Antagon is flying over most of the servants, so sometimes there's just flying plates.
Yeah, and also we'll communicate it to whoever grabbed the treasure to to hand it to Bartholomew or something like.
While I'm by Bartholomew, I will drop the treasure in the bag.
He kind of looks at as soon as you kind of walk past, he just kind of like pulls the bag open again and just once again goes, and then with a satisfying flunk, it just kind of drops in and disappears into the vacuum that is Bartholomew's bag of holding. As you guys kind of go about the table, Bartholomew kind of leans into you. Antagon, as he's speaking, you're all kind of basically hearing this through your telepathy, as he seems to be communicating to all of you at once, and he just kind of whispers, Lemmec seems to like you right now. Maybe try and get him to let you in on whatever his scheme is. You know, pretend to be allies.
So basically, pretend to be pulling pranks and whatnot on the guests.
Pretend? No, this is what I like to do. I mean,
Good. Keep up the act.
yes,
easy
sure,
to do.
old man, act. Definitely act.
Yeah. In that case, Anadolsha will. Actually, I'm trying to find something that will be. Okay. I'll let someone else do something first.
Yeah, all right. And you guys are going around, you know, getting out breads and soups and kind of preparing for this course. Not long after the soups are served, there's more unseen servants seem to come in behind you with what looks like a main course. They start like just lowering dishes onto the table. It looks incredible. It looks like there's this cod dish that was prepared. There's whole like suckling pigs with the apple in the mouth and everything. The table that was destroyed by that chandelier is completely repaired. Whatever happened while you were gone, it's been fixed. The adventurer that was underneath it is still gone. But you kind of get your way, and you're kind of at the chunk of the table where Lemmec is at. Who at this point, that paladin has just scooted kind of far away and is being very quiet. And the one, the kind of like elf that's across from Lemmec is whispering over to Lemmec and saying, well, how come you did all that bad for so long and it was so easy for you to all of a sudden turn it around now? Mr. Lemmec? Lemmec, you with me? Okay. Yeah, there you go.
Sorry about that. I
No
was
worries.
talking telepathically to a friend. No, you see, it's super easy. The key is just stop being evil. You know, you can be a dick sometimes. It's fine. Like, for example, him over there. I cast a Gaius on him to make him stop annoying me. Now, if he tries to annoy me, his head will explode.
You're pointing at the paladin.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
he's
you see, I
edged
just
very far away.
told him, no one's harmed by that. It just keeps him from harming me. You just
So-
gotta look at it in the right light.
So, question: is there any like other adventures around? Well, I would just be kind of a little bit more specific. Is there any, I guess, any clerics around?
There don't appear to be. I mean, there's certainly clerics in the hall. Like right next to Lemmec, there's like the paladin that's next to Lemmec. And yeah, I'm sorry, let me rephrase. There's certainly like clerics in the space. There are a whole bunch of Bartholomew's adventures.
I mean, like around the table at least.
Yeah. A little bit further down, you can find a cleric.
All right, so I'll try to get behind one of the clerics and release a fey presence on them to frighten them a bit.
All right, they're gonna make a wisdom saving throw, correct?
Yeah.
All right. As a cleric, they are naturally inclined to be good at this, but they are a low-level one, so we'll give them the kind of assumes that's a 15.
They fail.
All right. You watch as this cleric just kind of all of a sudden they like their eyes kind of widen. They stand up at the end of the table. Does Lemmec react to this at all, or is he just kind of like
No.
Yeah, and the cleric just kind of like runs out. The cleric just kind of like begins moving out of the room and like hurriedly walking away. You see they whisper something over to Bartholomew. Bartholomew does like an I don't know shrug, and then they exit the right chamber. You've thoroughly scared this individual.
What's their problem?
And Anadolsha like walks out from around that corner of the table, waves at Bartholomew, and just continues on.
Antagon is looking around to see who got the fugu dish. The fugu tainted. God.
You see, there's what looks like a tiefling barbarian is there, kind of hovering over it, and they are eating. She's just pounding food into her mouth. You see, she just reaches out and grabs like the whole fish, and just kind of like puts it down. They're about 5 to the left of Lemmec, and they're kind of like they have a whole nother fish in their mouth that they've already eaten, and they're gonna make even half damage is gonna fuck them up. So they begin kind of like pounding this meal, and then you see them just start to
Can you quiet down? We're trying to eat.
And they start making these like terrible noises. And
they also have Lady Molly like get right behind them so they'll trip over Lady Molly. If they like kind of like back.
Alright, they're gonna make a dex save, and it's from a source they can see, so they don't have advantage, even though they're barbarian. So it's gonna be a flat. They succeed. They stumble a little bit and catch themselves, and they begin walking backward. You hear them whisper, "Godfrey!" And Mr. Godfrey kind of, all of a sudden just kind of appears in the space behind them, and just, "Oh my dear, ma'am, I am so sorry about this. I don't know what this could possibly be. Just a bad luck evening. I beg your grace of forgiveness on this matter, and we'll see to you that you're come this way. And he kind of shuffles off with her out of the room, as you've poisoned this random woman very severely.
Once Godfrey leaves, I will look to what I assume to be their party members sitting at the same time. And
yeah, I mean, it's all the troop, so people are, partied with everybody, but there are people that seem, they have friends around there for sure.
I will go over that direction to kind of get a clump of adventurers sitting and enjoying dinner close together. And I will unleash and tell my minions to target their chairs and the floor beneath them, as I will unleash termites to consume.
Oh, God. All right. You unleash a colony of slightly magical termites. And beyond just the party in the immediate area, you watch as all of these people are... here kind of like panicking and are all kind of like panicking and now moving out as these termites move up and consume. And like a flash. Go ahead, Anadolsha.
Anadolsha will take her immovable rod and place it behind someone's chair so they can't scoot back.
Okay, yeah, they're trying to get out of the way, and then termites come up and consume the chair before they can get out of it in time. And they fall into a pile of termites, which overrun them and kind of just keep going on, consuming all the wood in the space.
This place is absolutely vile!
On the subject of bugs, guess who's releasing the bees?
Oh, not the bees! Not the bees! Who do you want to hit with bees?
I guess anyone that's not been affected by the termites.
All right. At this point, as you unleash the bees fly over, and you just kind of pick a random adventurer in here, and as the bees go and fly out, a voice kind of reflects in your mind, and you just hear, "There's no PvP in the land of DnDTime," and the bees just, for the first time ever, fail and fall dead in the air. You actually
but now there are gross bees all over the place.
Directly just kill people. Unfortunately, it looks like they're still Bartholomew's adventurers.
Well, the bees fall into people's food, and that was the goal the whole time.
It's definitely gross. No two ways about that. And yeah, amidst all of this chaos, Godfrey kind of storms back in and sees the new, total devastation. People are, standing up. Some of them are walking out, and things are getting a little bit kind of wild in the space here. People are storming out, and Godfried seems to be having like a spiritual kind of breakdown almost as he comes in here, and he's just overwhelmed by the state of the dinner, which he's been kind of working so hard to manage.
Man, if I were trying to ruin this place, I can't even imagine what it would be like.
Anadolsha just sounded like to prevent like the termites from disturbing Lemmec would have her immovable rod, which she took after the one fail, and just put it under the Lemmec's chair just in case the termites go after that.
The termites kind of go, they take out some wood, and then all of a sudden they disappear. They don't stay forever. But they take out a whole bunch of wood in that time frame. So in this state of chaos, as everyone is just kind of as everyone is just kind of like running around panicking now, there are people kind of like shouting over each other and like getting out. There are people saying, a whole bunch of these adventurers are kind of calling out things like, I think I'm getting out of here. This place is ridiculous. Why did we come here? Bartholomew shouldn't have dragged us here. And people are like getting very frustrated and starting to like, gesture like they're going to leave. In this chaos, you guys definitely have a free moment to like talk to Lemmec. Lemmec is like isolated now, and people are around and panicked.
Where you going?
I think I was gonna go over to Lemmec. This is fantastic. This is the best dinner I've ever been to.
Hey, Kurogan, how's it going?
I am Antagon. Thank you very much.
Whatever.
Question:
It's a big difference.
Where is
Kurogan,
the,
it's
where
a
is
miracle
the-
I learned your name, all right? Count your blessings.
the question? Where is Lemmec's staff at this moment?
It's in my goddamn hand.
It's
You
in his
can
hand.
read your thoughts.
It's in his goddamn hand, he says.
Okay.
I imagine that's quite literal.
No, not quite. I mean, it's just maybe. I don't know. There are probably some gods of undeath or something. I don't know. Whatever. Someone probably damns me.
So please, don't tell me it's true. Do not tell me you have turned over new leaf. Come on, you were
No,
just getting fun.
I'm a good guy now, guys. Ever since I learned that, Yajagus actually, likes me, that was crazy for me. I never realized that anyone wanted to be my friend before.
Can I roll insight?
Go ahead and roll an insight check. What is his impression of Lemmec, Jeremy?
Lemmec is very serious, and he means this from the bottom of his heart.
Wow.
It really changed me.
I liked you better when you were evil.
They say an
And
old
he just
dog
walks
can't
away.
learn-
I am so disappointed.
They say an old dog can't learn new tricks, but I'm surprised you added glibness to your spellbook, Lemmec.
Oh, I've had glibness for ages. You kidding me? That was like probably the third one. Meteor Swarm is actually pretty new. That one was a blast.
Literally.
I heard.
Well, shall we have a blast then?
No, I'm really interested to see how this turns out. I don't get invited to things very often.
Ah, so something is going to be turning out then.
I mean, yeah, this is a trap, right?
I don't know, is it?
Yeah? Lemmec looks at you confused.
In the corner, Antagon's like, they all fell for my trap.
And as you guys are having this conversation with Lemmec, where it's a little just tough to read, Bartholomew eventually kind of pulls you aside and kind of brings you back into the foyer. And as he's kind of, as he kind of, gets you aside, he says to each of you, "So, you had words with Lemmec. What did he say? You told him you were on his side, right? And that you're going to help and whatever his plot was. What's his plot this year?"
Here's the problem. The poor fool decided to turn over a new leaf or whatever. He seemed very serious about it, which was a major disappointment.
Still playing that card. I thought he might open up to all of you. As he's, well, I don't know. I thought he might see the evil in you and decide to let you in on his plan.
I thought so too.
Still seems to enjoy our mischief.
I tried so hard to prove that I am evil too, and he did not believe it.
Anadolsha just thinks, well, honestly, I mean, in my opinion, like, he might be turning over a new leaf, but he still likes being the dick.
Well, yes, that's prevalent, I suppose.
I think it's just a personality flaw.
Personality and alignment are different.
And I mean, it's kind of evil considering he did say, like, if that guy did something to him again, his head would explode. So.
Ooh, that's clever for Anadolsha. We should see if we can't convince that paladin to annoy him so his head will pop.
And in the chaos here, Bartholomew is looking around. You're in the kind of main foyer now, and Bartholomew looks over at kind of back into the dining room where you all were a moment ago, and Lemmec is no longer sitting in that chair, and Bartholomew just speaks up. Where did he go? And
Anadolsha will look to whoever is the paladin in the party and says, "Can you detect?"
What are you talking about? He was right. Oh, he is gone now.
And he is gone. And you hear the great kind of grandfather clock that's been ticking away here in the foyer. It strikes midnight. And as the clock kind of chimes out and intones, Bartholomew's head kind of turns upward to the side and starts looking around, kind of in something of a panic. And where is the shop? Where are we?
We're at the dinner.
Yes, I know that. And he begins working his way hurriedly over to the door.
Well, I guess I'm coming too.
The front door.
Trip has sprung. Let us go.
And as he reaches it and opens the door beyond, as you look out, the world that you saw when you walked up, the forest, the hill, the path, it is still there, but it is decidedly changed. The sky, which was dark and at this point kind of, unleashing some kind of stars from up above, has now become purple. It seems to swirl with strange energy. Those stars which were among are now grandiose and large, and seem to dance around the sky menacingly. You can see the forest itself. The trees have grown tall, forming what seems to be an impenetrable wall around the outside of the manor, and the manor behind you, as you look back up at it, it looms up what seems like infinitely into the sky as it towers over the space.
Okay, this is some Fey level shit here.
This was a good trap. I must commend him when I see him again.
Bartholomew kind of looks behind him and he speaks out, I have to find him. And Bartholomew kind of rushes backwards into the house, presumably looking to locate Lemmec.
Yeah, Anadolsha will follow right behind Bartholomew because she thinks it's not really like him to really worry like this.
Antagon is gonna look around.
And
let us split up and find Lemmec.
Anadolsha, as you kind of turn around and go to whip around after Bartholomew, you kind of open up the door and kind of go into the house as it kind of is now closed behind him. And as you do, you pull it open and there's just another door behind it. And that door just kind of falls away to the side and seems to sink into the floor. You open the next one, you pull it away, it falls away to the side and just sinks down into the ground on the hill on the outside. And that purple sky begins to grow darker and darker and darker.
Okay, so Yeah, and those is like everyone else around near me, or
Everyone else is still around you, but the space seems to slowly close in amongst the group of you. And as this house, this mansion, which has now been swept away into some strange realm, the darkness consumes more and more and encroaches.
Anadolsha is going to just make one last effort with this. Give me a moment.
I am going to take my.
I am casting Dispel Magic in this immediate area.
Dispel magic, you're saying?
Yep.
What were you saying that you were about to do, Wraithful?
I was going to take my hammer and swing at the wall next to the door.
All right.
To try to break
As you take your hammer and swing and try and break down the wall, your hammer smacks into it, and the wall seems to bend inward like rubber, just bouncing forward and then pushing back.
I'm gonna change my Frankenblade to radiant damage.
And as you do that, and this darkness continues to encroach, suddenly, amongst it, a very long and wide shadow falls upon you, emanating from the back entryway from the house from which you just exited.
I will look towards where the shadow is being cast from.
It seems to be the silhouette of a humanoid figure, wearing a flowing cape and a mantle flared to points over each shoulder. As the shadow looms and the darkness continues to descend around you, a villainous laugh cuts throughout the space. And in a moment, you've disappeared.
Wait,
That's the Lemmec I know and love.
So my Dispel Magic did nothing?
It did not appear to.
There's no DC check or anything required, huh?
And with that, we are going to end our third and final adventure of the night, as all of Bartholomew's adventuring troupe seems to have found themselves trapped in a very strange space.
We are in the deep down, dark deep down.